If you ramble, you ramble. Eddie's known for rambling, so.
Yeah, I love rambling, dog.
So you good, bro.
All right, let me start it again.
Hold up. Let's start from the beginning since we starting over. What's up, Ordinary Freaks? Back here with a new episode. B, myself, we got Eddie, and came through.
Came. Yeah, man. Like today, we're truly ecstatic to present to you guys this week's guest. I consider this man the Swiss Army knife of arts. He's a true multi-talent across the board. He does it all. A true trailblazer. I think ever since I met you, you've done nothing by the book as far as like what people will do. So like we're truly, ecstatic to have you here, man, and like, thanks, welcome.
Man. Well, it's a pleasure to have me. It's a
pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I got you, bro. Yeah.
God damn, man.
Yeah, dude. So, our podcast, we usually try to run through the journey, where you came up, where you are, where you struggle, where you succeeded. So tell us a little bit more about coming up in the streets of the 414.
Coming up in the scary streets of the 414.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. So born and raised here in Milwaukee with Mexican-American parents, which makes me 100% Mexican. And I'm very proud of that. Yeah. So, I guess being born and raised here, I wasn't raised with like strict parents where they would kind of like keep me housed inside. So I was able to just kind of like roam free and do really what I wanted. But I guess I was exposed to like music, the arts, all within the house, like in a very weird way.
Well, I guess how did that come about? Like, does your dad do art, your mom, or how did it come about?
No. Actually, I think it all like I from the art side, it was more from my dad. And he was teaching me art and introducing me to art without really knowing it.
Okay.
So Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, he would be on the phone. We had a phone in the kitchen that was on the wall. This was back before cell phones and stuff, before like the smartphones.
Yeah, back in the days,
spin dial and stuff. No, I'm just kidding. The thing, he would be on the phone early in the morning, and I would come sit on his lap while eating breakfast or something. But while he was on the phone, he would be like doodling on a napkin. He would draw like this real generic, like the side of like a dude's face. And I think just because he was not bored on the phone, but busy talking on the phone, his hand was doing something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel a lot of people do that. Like my mom does flowers when she talks on the phone.
Yeah.
So
I guess seeing that kind of made me wonder what he was doing with his hand with that pen,
Okay.
And then after that, I would run back to my room and just start drawing on shit, just doing what I saw him do on my own.
Gotcha.
At a very early age. So I think that's where the seed was planted for art and drawing and that whole world. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like the music side was mainly through my mom and my brother. My brother was into like house music, like the rap stuff, and then my mom was heavy into like all the Mexican music, all like the Spanish music. So that, because like that mashup of hearing both sides kind of like broadened my whole horizon, I guess. Like,
and this is your older brother, right?
Danny, so that's my older brother, Danny.
How old is he compared? What's the difference?
He's 32 right now.
Okay, so there's not a big gap, but I mean, sufficient where like you will listen to music that you might have not been put on.
Yeah, yet, exactly. Right? So I was like a few years behind him, but he was definitely, I guess, like a trailblazer for me to like new worlds of music and like, especially rap and like house. I feel like he was the one I would follow, and I still look up to him a lot too.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So you that's when you got introduced, but I guess when did you know like, shit, like this is for me, I mean, you go through elementary, middle school, high school, it's a usual like math, science, you got to do this and that.
Basic shit.
Right. When did you know it was like I'm good at this shit. I like this shit.
It started early too, dude.
Yeah.
Actually in elementary school, I went to Morgandale.
Okay.
And there I met a group of friends that were like into like Pokemon cards and like Dragon Ball Z and stuff. And
hell yeah.
I think being influenced by that and like the whole trading card and comic book and like cartoons and stuff, we drew our own comics and made our own trading cards. Okay. So we would draw the comics and the cards, and we would sell them to the classmates. Like I think I made like $20 when I was selling cards.
What
for
did you guys call them?
50 cents. I can't even remember what it was called, man. It was like a ripoff of like Pokemon or something. Dude, I swear.
Pokemon and shit. Took a pee out.
It was something. We even had like it was like 5th grade, I think, man, or 4th grade when we were like selling these comics and these like cards and stuff. And I think that's when I realized, like, actually, now that I think of it, that was probably my first paid like
hustle.
Like, my first job, man, was like in elementary school. It's crazy, but yeah, I think it didn't really hit me, but that's definitely when
like a key point or whatever.
A key point, yeah. Gotcha. I think that's when the thing really sunk in, and that seed was planted.
Okay.
You know?
Are your parents also have that aspect of where like they want to do, they live on their own terms and maybe have their businesses and stuff? I know we have never talked about this.
Yeah, no, they didn't go the route of starting like their own business. I think my dad might have had like an idea when he first came from Mexico. Mm-hmm. I feel like my dad had like the original idea to open up like a Mexican grocery store. And but instead of doing that, he decided just to go like the normal route because he had a family to take care of. He had me, my brother, and my mom.
Right.
So I ended up working like at Masterlock, then Harley Davidson.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and then with my mom, she worked at Dental Associates pretty much for the majority of her life, and she's still there now. And she started at the bottom, went all the way to the top, and now she's back to being like a receptionist. So she's seen it all.
Gotcha.
So they pretty much lived and stayed in like that normal job world, I think. Yeah. But they love it,
Yeah.
So as long as they're happy.
Right. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more, I guess, about if there is or not, your formal education. And, I feel like art, it can either, you can go to school for it, but at the end of the day, you really don't need it. So can you tell us a little bit more about, if you did it, how you did it, and how it helped you or didn't help you? What you have to say about that?
So with school, and like elementary school and middle school, pretty basic. We had art classes and stuff, but I think it wasn't until high school where I decided to take like art classes and make it part of my regular school schedule because I went to Milwaukee High School of the Arts.
Okay.
So I was given two blocks a day of art.
Gotcha.
And I learned a lot, like technical stuff and like drawing abilities, painting abilities were all like refined and sharpened there. Mm-hmm. But I feel like what I found most valuable were the people that I met. Like in the classrooms.
Okay.
Like the friends that I surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
That kind of opened up my world to like different types of art and how to get better through them, not so much through what I was being taught in class.
Gotcha.
Because they were all doing completely different things.
Okay.
And after that, I went on to METC for graphic design. So for sure, after high school, I went through a whole episode of getting busted for graffiti during high school.
Yeah.
And that was a nightmare for my family and for myself. It was fun. It was fun to go out and to experience that, like that whole adrenaline rush of like tagging on stuff because
right.
I feel like anyone that's into art and into hip hop, you're eventually gonna end up tagging on some shit. I think a lot of it had to do with I guess like the people I was hanging around with and like just the world that I threw myself into. Everyone was doing it. So me. I wish I was a leader back then because I probably wouldn't have fucking done it because it led to a big ticket, almost going to jail.
Yeah.
Giving my mom a heart attack and my dad's hair going gray. It was crazy. But I think that was a valuable experience because I learned so much and it gave me the confidence to be able to, in a sense, to say, fuck it and just do stuff. No matter what the risk was.
Yeah.
There was kind of like for selfish reasons because I just wanted to live like that tagger lifestyle and be cool, I guess. But at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it.
Right.
But I did pull some stuff. I did learn a lot through that experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So let's go back a little bit ways. At METC, myself also went to that school. How was your experience in that school? Did you felt like they were preparing you essentially to get a job, or were you just there to kind of fulfill like either your parents' dreams or how like I feel like a lot of first generation students will be a lot of the times do it for the parents a lot of the time and not truly follow their dreams. I think it's a little opposite for you just because you did art your whole life, right? And this is kind of like a thing, like it was maybe an obvious step for you, or maybe an interest that you're like, I want to take this digitally, or whatever it might have been. So yeah, how was that for you in that journey?
So the whole technical college METC journey, it's funny because I went obviously because I felt like that was the next step after high school. You know,
right?
I didn't see myself in like a regular 4-year college because I think after high school I knew where I wanted to be. I wanted to do graphic design. I wanted to do stuff on the computer that involved illustration, logo design, all that stuff. I just didn't know how to do it yet. So METC offered the program, the 2-year program, for a very affordable price. So I did it. I think the experience was definitely worth it. And if you're in high school now and you graduate, you don't know what to do, it's definitely worth trying.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Just like, because it's school. You're gonna learn stuff, you know.
Right.
But I feel like what was most valuable for me was the discount on the Adobe suite. And I'm being serious because you get a fat ass discount, and what you learn in school is cool, and your portfolio of the projects that you do in school is great, but you can't take that shit to a job. You can't apply for jobs with those projects.
Okay.
Because it's very generic, very boring, and I mean, there might be a few exceptions, but the majority of my portfolio was crap because there was no passion. There was no heart behind any of those projects. It was just
another assignment and shit, right?
It was just to do it.
It's monkey work, right?
Yeah.
In a sense.
It was the stuff that I did after class when I went home.
Right.
I had this discounted software of like Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, just sitting on my computer at home, which gave me the opportunity to stay up late to practice.
Gotcha.
And to turn my graffiti tags into vector art, into vector illustrations, like digital format, create PDFs of my illustrations. Like that was valuable as hell for me.
Right.
To be able to leave the classroom but still do what I wanted. There was no due date. There was no checklist of things that were required of me to do for the assignment. This was me. This was me experimenting and like having fun with this new world of technology, software.
You said the word practice, which I think is key to a lot of things in this world, right?
Yeah.
I think, when it comes to art, sports, XYZ, whatever it might be, a lot of people are like, you're either born with it, people can be like, oh, you just got it in you. But I guess coming from you, what you say, you're talking about experience after school. You go to school, however time you come home and you're still doing it. So I guess, can you talk a little bit about, not how many hours, but how does that practice really come in at the end of the day? Where did it get you, or do you really think it's like, I was born with this, like I'm naturally good at it?
I think it's like a mix of both. And the reason I say that is because I was drawing like endlessly before I was ever touching the computer.
Okay.
I had put in you know what? Actually, it might be all practice. If I wouldn't have drawn every day, I wouldn't be able to create the illustrations and drawings that I'm doing today.
Right.
So maybe the majority of it is practice,
Yeah.
But I'd like to believe there is a little bit of that natural, like, I guess you're just born with it.
Yeah.
Because I started so young doing it that it almost felt natural. Like it felt like either you're born and you pick up, cooking stuff and you start cooking, or you grow up and you start planting stuff. You're gonna be a gardener, or you're gonna, like things you do at a very early age. I feel like is what you're gonna end up doing to the end,
right?
Because it's the only thing I've really known.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's really key too, because like I feel like a lot of people, they might have those interests when they're younger.
Yeah.
Like I know I had plenty of interest back in the day, that as time went on and I kind of started conforming to this thing that's called real life, you kind of start letting some of that go, right? And somehow like you stuck to that like real like and fine thing, and then you just kept refining it through practice. So
I'm sorry to cut you off. I thought of something like the story that I told you about my dad drawing in the morning on the napkin. I could have been like that little kid sitting on his lap and not really, I guess, giving a shit that he was doodling.
Right.
But I was that kid that was like really blown away by the fact that he was using this pen to create a face.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So maybe it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Maybe another kid would have been like interested that he was on the phone.
Right.
Ended up making phones for a living or something. I don't know.
He would have been an engineer, a product designer, whatever.
Or the kid was interested in the way the hand was moving and ends up being like a physical therapist. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But me, I was interested in the fact that he was able to illustrate something.
Yeah. Gotcha. So you're saying basically like maybe the art was in you, but to get at where you're at, since you were a kid, you were doing that shit every day.
Yeah.
And once you got to school, at school, after school. So
I was doodling on everything during school, and then it was in my life in every little way,
Gotcha.
So.
I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, for example, you saw that opportunity. I think sometimes that's the trouble some people have. There's something in front of them. They don't know how to, you don't realize, you don't take advantage of it. So that's real good that you were able to be like, this interests me. Like, let me do it. And, you got good at it. I think that's key to, what a lot of people are doing. Like, if you're good at something, like pursue it, practice it, you're only going to get better. So you're done with school, MATC. What's next? What came next? You're working, you found a job.
So after METC, you're kind of pressured to like, all right, time to dive into some job applications, go look for a job, right?
Bullshit, right?
Yeah, it was. It's still to this day, it's a miserable experience. I guess that kind of ties into something I want to talk about later. But I leave METC, and at the same time, I was messing around with airbrush.
Okay.
So I think the whole graffiti thing taught me how to do letters and drawing cartoon characters, and all that was able to adapt and go into using an airbrush to airbrush on t-shirts and shoes and on hats and stuff. And I ended up meeting this guy at Southridge Mall named Rich, who ran a shop right in like a kiosk, like right in the middle of the mall. And he gave me the opportunity to kind of be his apprentice and for like a year.
Okay.
And he taught me everything he knew to the point where he ended up moving back to, I think he went back to Minnesota or to Washington, and pretty much left me the shop to run it along with his business partner.
Okay.
So he pretty much ran all the business stuff. I just did all the painting.
All the art painting.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was there for a while, and that was my job.
Okay.
I did that for, I want to say up until like 2011 or 10.
Yeah.
I started at Southridge, then I went to the Grand Ave. And I was airbrushing every day. I was making pretty decent money, almost like a regular job. It wasn't like amazing money. I wasn't like balling or anything, but it was enough to
keep you going.
I bought like a little Toyota Camry, and
Right.
I was able to go out, do like Summerfest and all the normal stuff.
Yeah.
And be able to afford it.
20-somethings will do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will draw a little crowd too. And
Man, I gotta tell you, that was hard to get over. Again, doing graffiti, you're used to being alone in the dark. There's no one, you want no one to look at you.
Nope.
Right.
And then I'm so used to being at my desk, drawing in my room, alone, being confident because I'm alone. But being in public where, there's
It's
people
like
walking by.
It's like singing in the shower versus singing in a
Exactly,
stage.
man.
Right?
Shaking, bro. Shaking.
Yeah.
I was to the point my letters were coming out weird. Like the first few shirts were rough. Of course the people didn't notice, but I'm my worst, my own worst critic. So it wasn't what I was really capable of doing, but it was hard, man, because you're nervous.
I bet. And it's crazy too, because some people might think like, oh, you just worked at Southridge, but they don't think about what you gain from that. Like you said, being in public, that kind of the social skills, that confidence.
Social skills, dealing with they weren't, I guess, clients, and that was like my first experience dealing with clients. People that would come up to me and they needed something, and me being creative and delivering what they wanted, taking their simple idea and making it look cool.
Gotcha, yeah.
So yeah, I learned a lot there.
I bet, man. I want to touch on something, I think, every urban kid, or at least inner city Milwaukee kid, or I guess not most, but would say that, to a point you were working for Moda 3, which is it's a big, I guess, urban community kind of, you go there to get fitted, you go there for a fresh fit for the weekend or something, and they have their own clothing and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how that opportunity came about? You said you were there for, I really don't know, X amount of time, right? Kind of what happened there, what you ended up doing with Mona, and
so that whole experience and that transition is a really cool story. So I was working at a place called Sellers Absorbance, and there I was not necessarily a graphic designer. I was the pretty much the designer's assistant. I was like a production artist.
Okay.
So I basically assisted with everything that the art director and the designer needed, whether that would be adjusting some text on a certain design, creating mock-ups, and pretty much just being their assistant and just helping them out.
Okay.
So I was there for about a year, actually exactly a year. And then this was like, man, I want to say like August, almost September. A good friend of mine, Mauricio Ramirez, which is another really talented, dope artist, he had told me that he had got the opportunity to work for Microsoft to do a mural in Toronto. Oh. And he said, hey, bro, I got this big project. I need help. And I said, I'm down. I think he said he was going to be there for about a week. He needed someone to help him pick up supplies, drive around a van to go get more supplies, and set up a wall and paint and document the whole experience. And because I guess through the project, he was able to bring one assistant.
Cool.
So he offered me the opportunity, but I was still working at Sellers. And I remember sitting at my desk and I was like, all right, I'm at this full-time job that I literally hated with everything in my soul, dude. I hated this fucking job so much because there was no windows. You're basically in an office.
Warehouse, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't stand being there, but grateful for the opportunity because it's a full-time job. It paid great, amazing, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
And I remember sitting there. I was like, man, I can stay. I can come here and work another year, or I can go to Toronto for a week and help my friend out to do this mural and just have a free trip out there and have that experience.
Yeah.
You know, because I can always find another job.
Right.
But you don't get offered to go to Toronto for a week for free
right.
to do a cool thing for Microsoft.
Right.
So I put in my 2 weeks, man. I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna go. And I left there. We went to Toronto, and that was an amazing experience. Really, really dope. Came back and without a job, you know. And I remember talking to Eric, one of the owners from Moto3. Mm-hmm. Me and him had like open dialogue or like a conversation before me leaving. And earlier that year, I would come in and I would see him, and he would tell me like, yo, bro, you should come in and do some artwork for us. You should do some designs for us. I have like a bunch of ideas. And I remember being interested, but we never really linked up to make anything happen.
Right.
It wasn't until I got back from Toronto that I brought up the fact that I'm not working right now. I'm kind of jobless. Are there any opportunities here? And he actually offered me something. You know, I think he wasn't 100% sure what was going to come out of it, but he was kind enough and amazing enough to give me the opportunity to be their designer I was there for about a little over a year.
Okay.
And that was a really cool experience too. I learned a lot about dealing with graphics and like apparel and how a store runs,
marketing.
And marketing, a ton of marketing, and just learning more about myself as a designer, about what I'm good at and also what I'm horrible at.
Gotcha.
You know, I have nothing but good things to say about the guys at Moto3. They really, I think they are responsible for the type of person and designer that I am today. Because they would call me out on my shit when I fucked up, and they would congratulate me when I did great.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I think working for them really opened up my eyes to my potential and things that I need to work on. And my reason for leaving was because I think they felt that they didn't have the time to guide me day to day as a designer.
Right.
And that was one of my flaws. Was I think I was the type of designer that needed direction.
Gotcha.
When I was hired by someone,
yeah,
I needed someone to give me something to do every day, and I wasn't capable at that time to be able to say, I got this, I'm gonna run with it, and I'm gonna deliver while you do something else. You know, and that only happens when I'm hired by someone. When I was working at Sellers, I had someone tell me what to do every day.
Yeah,
like they had shit for me to do.
Right.
At Moto3, because they're so busy running the store, ordering shoes and doing their own thing, that they kind of expected me just to kind of run off and do amazing shit on my own and then deliver. You know, and I think we just didn't link up there. You know, I wasn't at that level yet.
Right.
And that was the thing that I learned the most, you know, that I learned about myself. That after I left there, I was like, you know what, I gotta do shit. I gotta run with it. I gotta take ideas from beginning to end and not wait on anyone. Not wait for a to-do list like every morning.
Right.
Like I should make that to-do list. I should be on top of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So So yeah, they decided to let me go to focus on other things and to kind of let me fly solo for a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I think deep down, Eric and the guys knew what I was capable of,
Right.
and kind of like in a sense, kind of set me free just to kind of to see what I'm capable of, to see what would become of me, because I feel like they were confident that I would do just fine on my own.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, being let go from Moto3 felt like, in a sense, kind of like the end of the world. To be dramatic, I felt like the end of the world, because I was like, fuck, man, how am I not working at Moto3 no more?
That's
like,
that's why I said it's like that would be like shit. That would be like I would be happy as fuck. Like damn,
man,
working
I was
for them.
spoiled. Like they gave me all the freedom in the world to be creative, to make cool shit for them, and I did. You know, I made a lot of cool things for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I wasn't at that level to fill that position yet.
Gotcha.
You know, as a designer and as a person, I wasn't ready. And,
so, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
What made you decide to just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing," and like just hit the fucking floor running,
Man.
and balls to the wall?
I wish I would have hit the floor running in May when they let me go, but I think when you get let go from a job, you automatically go into that mindset like, all right, time to start applying for more shit. Like, let's go fix up the resume, fix up the portfolio, let's go start applying. But and I did, that's what I did. I fixed up my resume, bought some nice shirts, a tie, and preparing for like interviews and stuff. I started applying everywhere, bro, everywhere. Like not even like just design agencies and like studios and stuff and firms, but like Target, Walmart, Blick Art Store. I was applying everywhere. I was desperate, like not working sucks.
Yeah.
So I wanted something to bring in some income. And at the same time, I'm selling beats, with like the whole with like the music making. I'm selling beats on the side. I am doing logos here and there, but like $50, $20.
Right.
Doing commissions, maybe small mural work, painting. So I'm making some money doing some cool shit too.
Exactly. You're
But very low level.
staying entertained. It's like not busy work because that's things that you love.
But in my mind, I'm thinking health insurance. I'm thinking steady check. I'm thinking like I need that, right? So I'm applying for jobs everywhere, but no one's calling me back, and which sucked, And it slowly but surely, I started to realize like maybe this 9 to 5, finding a job at a legit place isn't gonna work out, and I can't keep waiting. Yeah,
right.
I can't keep waiting. I mean, like, what's really legit,
Right. Nah, I agree.
And it's like, I was applying to all these places, and no one was calling me back, and I was starting to realize, like, maybe I shouldn't be waiting for these people to call me back to be able to be happy and to make money. I'm making a little bit of money doing this stuff. What if I start watering these plants a little bit more?
Right.
So that's what I did. A lot happened during the summer. I went from being unemployed and single to being unemployed with a girlfriend. And that actually, I'm gonna be completely honest, a lot of the reason why I feel like I'm being so proactive with my freelancing and all my work is because of this person that came into my life.
That's dope.
Being in a relationship and finding someone that like fits you so perfectly kind of like drives you and motivates you. And also having like a fan on the side, like literally rooting for you.
I feel that, yeah.
Can like really encourage you and motivate you to not like fucking give up.
Right.
Like to not settle for less. So shout out to Daniela. I love you. And
she couldn't make it today.
She couldn't make it. She's working. Like her supporting me, my family supporting me. Actually, the family supported me. The support's there, but also they care a lot about me. So they don't understand the freelance. They don't understand that I could sell beats out of my room and sell logos out of my room and be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. So, like, what have you done to, I guess, kind of comfort them? Like, do you tell them, like, look, like, I'm actually working all the time, not just fooling around making beats? And I'm sure they know that. I mean, you're super open with your parents.
I'm very open with them, and they are extremely, extremely, extremely supportive. They've never said no to any of my ideas. They've always voiced their opinion on what they felt about the ideas, but they never said don't do it.
Right.
My parents are the main reason literally why I'm here, and they have pushed me in all the directions that I wanted to go in. But being parents, they would voice their opinions and they would say like, you know what, there's no health insurance there. How are you gonna be able to do this? You should look for something else because this is safe. You know, this is more consistent. There's a check here. You know what I'm saying? And I understood and I get it, but I knew deep down inside, I'm the one that's gonna have to go to that job every day, and I know that I'm not gonna be happy there, especially knowing what I feel I'm capable of. It's not a good fit for me. It would never be a good fit for me.
Gotcha.
But I think their like guidance and stuff is extremely valuable. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to make your own decisions and just kind of take what they say and listen, and still kind of just do your own thing.
Right.
In a sense, you kind of have to zone them out a little bit because they almost care like too much. Like they're just, that love is way too strong for them to listen to you because they want you to be safe. They want you to be okay. They don't want you to take any risks.
Right. That's dope. Can you, you have, Keep Pushing.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and the significance behind that project for people that don't know.
That was a collaborative project. It was with me and my other partner, Gabi Olmedo, who's a videographer and a creative here in the city, who's like making moves for himself. He's doing a lot of cool things. So me and him last summer, it was actually me, Gabi, our friend Kari, and her brother Jerry, and oh man, who else was there? And I think my other friend Mauricio. We were all sitting down getting a beer, and we were just talking, and we had the idea of using like a paleta cart for something. You know, I think we might have came up with the slogan there on the spot for like keep pushing, but we were trying to find something like an idea to run a campaign for like a shirt that had meaning behind it. You know, so me and Gabi took those little like beer conversations and turned it into Keep Pushing Milwaukee, which, you know, I created the design, we put it on a shirt, and Gabi helped me create like a video to promote it.
Gotcha.
You know, he shot it in a really, really dope way, gave me a bunch of cool shots. We shared ideas, we posted it, and we ended up creating like a pop-up that happened here in Walker's Point, right in front of Fuel and what used to be Caña.
Right.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, right. So we made 30 shirts, a very limited run, and I documented the process of obtaining a paleta cart and hand painting the logo and like the sides of it. And we use video as the main
distribution method.
Yeah, to get our message across and to promote it. And it worked. You know, we pulled up to the spot, to the pop-up, like the customers and the people that wanted the shirts were there before I was even set up. So we pulled up.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like I remember going and I already had my shirt and I forgot, I couldn't find it, right? Like, so I wasn't aware. Yeah. But like I remember going to an event where they had the screen print where you already had the graphic done, right?
Yeah.
And that was for something else. But like you want to do your own thing, and I remember pulling up with the T-shirt on, and then you're like, dude, like I only have like 5 shirts left. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? And there was like people had just been hitting me up before I even showed up. Like you told me, he's like, I had like people in cars waiting for me.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. I was unloading, you know, it was pretty nuts.
I had pictured the day going like, all right, I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna be sitting there for a little bit, and I'm gonna have to wait for these people to show up, and they might not show up. I might show up with 30 shirts and leave with 28, you know. But I completely sold out that same day within like 20 minutes. They were gone, which was an eye-opening experience because seeing all that work that we put into promoting it, creating the video, doing posts about it, and kind of building up to this day, all that work was worth it. You know, it worked. It worked. An idea that we had was successful. And that just really motivated me again to not wait around for opportunities. You know, there was never going to be anyone that was going to say, hey, Mike, we want you to do this campaign for Paleta, blah, blah, blah. Like we literally had to create that shit on our own. Yeah. You know, it was ours.
Yeah. You know? But I think, you know, if I want people to take anything away from this interview, is like, I think you've really been stressing, and I think this is, you know, basically your whole life is just do it. Like
just do it. And then also what goes back to the keep pushing thing is that's I think really important to keep in mind, is that when things get tough and like clients stop calling you, or things aren't really in your favor, you got to keep pushing, man. You just keep going, keep trying, because I think your ideas are worth it. You know, if you feel strong about them and you feel like they're capable of becoming something bigger, chase it.
Right. Put in the work.
Put in the work and just chase that shit.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I like that, because I always stress work. You know, people are like, how do you work? Why do you work? Just work. Just do it. Like you said, keep pushing. Just
keep pushing, man.
Keep doing.
Pushing. And you know who Gary Vee is, right?
Yeah.
Gary Vee. I mean, so one thing that I do when I'm working on stuff, some people listen to music. I watch YouTube videos of like, like Gary Vee.
We're in the same.
I watch Casey Neistat. I watch all these different guys that are doing cool shit, talking about cool shit, and like, I listen to what they're saying, and they make it sound so easy, but I think in a sense it is. Like, it all ties back to not being a lazy fuck and just working at it.
Yeah.
You know, taking your idea and putting in the work to build it to what it's capable of becoming, you know?
And like, those two guys are just machines, you know?
Yeah,
like,
those guys, I mean, granted.
and they say it, and, you know, the fact that they, you know, one, Casey blogs it, and he's a filmmaker by trade, and Gary Vee just has, you know, someone following him around because people did not believe him that he was really out there, like, just meeting. And I think that's like a New York thing, right? Like, they're just always like, moving. There's always things to do. So like, they're always moving. Maybe it also lends itself to it. But like, even they said like, yeah, New York might be a little too getting slower for us because they just are that much hungrier, and they're like 10 plus years older than us. So if they're doing it at that rate, like, what can we do, you know, to actually...
What they're saying, they're like dropping gems, you know, like kind of like take what they're saying and apply it to your situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the big one was, I learned from Gary, was like the DM is king. It's because it's true. You can like slide into someone's DM and get their full attention if they open the shit. Yeah. You know, I mean, the drum broker, or not the drum broker, who did I hit up? Where I had hit someone up that I didn't expect would ever open up my DM, and they opened the shit, and they responded. You know, so like these tools, man, they're extremely powerful. They can like change your life with one fucking DM.
Nah, and the other thing you said is like, just stop being lazy. I think, like you said, Gary, Casey, they all touch, and I mean, those are inspiration to us as well. They all touch on that, and kind of linking it to our first episode. We had my boy Anason saying it's like,
that was a good one.
A lot of the problem is not not wanting it bad enough. Yeah. So no, it's that wanting it and work. Cause like a lot of people, like you said, like, you're just being lazy. Like yes, you have a career, whatever. Like, I have a career, but yeah, you're gonna have, if you want something, you're gonna have to come home, and you're not gonna watch Netflix. You gotta figure shit out for your podcast, for your business. You know, extra money. It's sacrifices. It's work. So, you know, I think people gotta be a little bit more cognizant. And if, like, you know, if you really want it, it's gonna take work. Like, these people don't make it overnight. You know, and like you said, you see people see the end result, the end work, but everything in between, it's what's. I think that's what, you know, really counts at the end of the day. Because if you weren't doing all those things,
I saw a change in myself when I was like early 20s. I still loved doing like illustration design and like beats and all that. I still loved it to death back then. But, you know, I was still going out to the club, you know, drinking on the weekends, and like I was working like the full-time job. So I was working to have fun on Saturday and Sunday and Friday and stuff. Yeah. And as I got older into my 20s, I realized that all that shit started to die down because I was becoming kind of like an introvert, man. I hated being in those places. I hated that experience because it was taken away from my opportunity to get better at what I wanted to do. Right. You know, and it was a waste because, you know, getting like wasted on a Friday and waking up hungover on a Saturday would waste my morning to make a dope beat or to practice my drawing, you know? Right. It's countless times that I would get invited out to go do stuff, and either one, I would completely ignore the text, or I would have to come up with an excuse to say, no, I don't want to go. Yeah. You know, and a lot of like people that I used to hang out with, I don't hang out with anymore because I feel, now that I feel bad for like blowing them off, all those invites and all that, but it's just that maybe we're on different paths, you know? Right. I think that's important, like, you know, realizing that it does, you know, like even myself, like now I used to, like, for me, weekends was waking up at
a las 12, like midday, you know. And now it's like, dude, like I can't sleep past like 7 a.m. now. Like I'm up, like no matter what I did the day before, like I'm up and ready to go. Like, what are we doing? What am I cleaning? What am I working now? Like, what do I have to get done today? You know. So I definitely agree on, like, I had the same shift. You know, I was used to, like, it's the weekend. Where we at? What we doing? You know. And
yeah. Like the weekend started like Thursdays.
And
like,
now it's like
for people that are really out here Wednesdays.
It's 10. It's getting close to bedtime. Like, let's wake up early.
I feel like I'm a shitty person when I go out though. Like, you know, taking shots just because someone buys it for you, and you know, and you're sitting at the club. I'm not much of a dancer, so I was just sit there with the beer. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, but again, just I guess being like single and all that stuff, and you know, I guess wanting to have like fun. I thought that's where it was gonna happen, you know. But it wasn't until I left that world that I found what I was looking for. Yeah. You know?
I feel that.
And I dedicated myself to my work. I got obsessed with it. I became addicted to it because all that club shit and going out and going to the bars and all that wasn't going to get me anything. I mean, yeah, you make connections, you meet your like friends and stuff, but man, like life is short, dude. Like you got to like chase what you want.
You touched on like, you know, some of those people you don't even hang out with anymore. I think, you know, the freelancer life, a lot of people would say it's a lonely life, you know.
It's lonely, dude.
Yeah, like you're on your own. I guess not backlash, but you know, what shit did you get from people? How did you cope with it? I mean, obviously I know you don't care because you're here and you're successful, you know. I think that what matters, like not listening to those people at the end of the day. But I guess, you know, what happened? How did you deal with that? And did it affect you in any sense? Or
as far as with people, I didn't experience anything really like negative with friends. I think people that, not to say I cut them off, it sounds pretty like harsh.
Right.
I think what really happened was
they faded.
They faded
they
away.
Ghosted.
Yeah. I think they're successful in what they're doing in their own lane. We're just not going in the same direction.
Gotcha.
So I'm way over here doing freelance, and they're over here doing their own thing. You know. But I don't think anything negative came from it. I might have stopped talking to him because I was busy doing other things.
Right.
I guess that doesn't really count as like negative, but you know, maybe losing contact with certain people. I think I haven't had any resentment from anyone that because I haven't reached out to them to really hear what they have to say.
Right.
So they might if I reach out. I
Hit
hope
them
not.
in the comments.
Yeah. Right.
Just kidding.
I hope not. But I think what I've experienced is a little bit of guilt. Especially with the people that are still in my life today. Yeah. Maybe from like with my brother and his family, with my like niece and nephew, and like with my girlfriend. You know, I think it was yesterday. I put in like a shitload of hours trying to finish up some work. When my girlfriend got out of work, I feel like that need to want to go see her, to go hang out with her, which I did, but also knew I had the responsibility to deliver these logos to these clients by the end of the day.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that, like, I know she would never do this. She would never say this. But I feel like some other people would be like, dude, that's not even a real job. Like, what the fuck? Like, you can say that for later.
Right, yeah.
You know, like, let's go get something to eat. Let's go hang out. She would never say that. But I feel like that could be something someone could say.
Gotcha.
You know, I feel like in my head, like, I feel like that's like the worst nightmare, like, for them to be like, dude, what you're doing is not that big of a deal. You're doing logos. Right. Like, tell them you'll hit them up later. Like, it's not a real job. You know.
Right.
I guess to kind of wrap things up, can you tell us just kind of, you know, you're doing the freelance. Besides that, like, what are you up to now? Like, you know, you left that graffiti life behind.
The
you know,
lifestyle.
Yeah, you left.
It's still there a little bit. I mean,
You left that, you know, that 9-to-5 corporate. You're doing your freelance. Just kind of current CAMEone. Like, what are you up to? What are you doing? Like,
I'm juggling growing the freelance business, like trying to get to the next level, be more consistent with work and clients. And on the music side, I feel is starting to grow this year. I've had a few opportunities. I have a potential placement or a placement with Bump J, an artist out of Chicago. He's releasing a mixtape called Luxury Volume 1. That'll be my first like official placement with someone major.
Nice.
And then another exciting thing that happened not too long ago was DJ Relly Rel out of New York is on tour with Designer, and they're always making like beats and music, or not beats, they're making songs like in their tour bus.
Right.
And I think they were in Thailand a few months ago, and I had sent a few samples or a few like melodies that I had played for him about a few months ago, and he ended up using it for a song that he recorded with Designer. Damn. So they have a song together.
That's dope.
It's like co-produced by me and Relly Rel, but it's sitting there. It's not going on a project. I think he told me he was in Milwaukee a few days ago, and he told me that they shot a video for it. So it could be released, it might not, but if that happens, that'll
be the next hottest single.
You know what? As a producer, you always hope and pray that that placement takes you to that next highest level of like being like that go-to guy for beats. But for me, like those things are cool, and the fact that they are real is exciting and it's motivating. But you got to keep it moving, you know. You got to keep winning more. Yeah. You know, like it's cool that happened, but I can't get stuck in it. Like, this is it. This is what's going to be the thing. No, you got to accept it, celebrate, and move on.
Keep going,
And keep going. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So. Yeah, because I mean, you've done a lot of like. You've won other more prestigious battles too, and you got to meet other people and like.
Shit, didn't you get to go to ComplexCon?
Yeah.
Too?
Oh yeah. That was for like another like thing, right? That you got voted up, right?
Yeah. So this goes back to another shout out to Marisol Ramirez. He's the guy who actually put me on to that Brisk contest. So Brisk Ice Tea put out a contest saying, I think the premise was like being Latino and how being Latino and Hispanic influences your art. Yeah. So with Mauricio, he's like a visual artist.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he put together a video that showcased it. Mexican, I'm an artist. Brisk Tea, he sent it. I did mine under being a producer with music. Mexican, I make beats. I sent it to Brisk. It was done. A few weeks later, he got announced as a winner under his category for visual art, and then I got announced as a winner for being a producer. So we each got to bring a guest. I think he brought his girl at the time, and I brought my homie Lex. So we all flew out to ComplexCon. Huh?
I was left out.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Not Eddie.
No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, and then they flew us to ComplexCon, like the first ever ComplexCon.
That's dope.
We flew to Long Beach. We were there for the weekend, and that experience was amazing too, man. I think the fact that we were out there together, a group of friends, for free because of a contest that we signed up for that really no one really knew about.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It never got promoted like super crazy.
I remember just boating you up and boating Mauro like all the way up. Like I was making like I don't even know if you need an email, but I remember like I might have done like 10 for you or like 5 for him.
It was crazy. I mean, just being out there was an amazing experience. But a highlight for me was being able to sit down with Lenny S from Rock Nation. Because that was a milestone for me. Granted, nothing ever really came from that experience as far as a placement or an opportunity for like to get signed or for him to buy any beats or anything, or to use any beats for an artist. But the fact that I was sitting inside of a hotel lobby with Rock Nation's A&R, like literally blew my mind. Nervous as hell, but he was sitting there. I have a photo of it where he's sitting on the lobby couch with headphones on, and a few times he would like be like, "Damn, this is tight. This is tight. This is tight." And he made a list of 17 beats that he wanted to take back, you know?
Okay. So on the spot,
yeah. So that experience like blew my mind because it made shit real. You know, like here I am sitting down with a Rock Nation A&R, listening to my beats. Like something could happen from this. It just motivated me. It made me want to keep going because like I could really take this all the way.
Gotcha.
You know?
It's crazy, man. Like that whole thing. And I'm obviously now with social media, like we keep coming back to that, right? But like, I feel like you only need one painting, one logo, one beat, just someone to like say, okay, yeah, like I like this, and not to like say like, oh yeah, I want to put this guy on, right? But to a point where like they just gotta like share it, and then all of a sudden like you're gonna be, famous CAMEone, like.
And the whole, there's one thing I don't like, not that I don't like it, but I'm not big on like, people say like, oh dude, you're gonna be like big, you're gonna be like famous and stuff. Like that's never like the reason why I'm doing all this stuff, all the music, all the art. I think I get excited by the fact that I get to do it, and to be able to share it. And to see people that actually like it, and for these opportunities, all these doors to be opening up is amazing, Because again, I don't like being front and center. I don't like being like center of attention. I get nervous as hell. It's just like, it's not for me. I just want to be able to create and to do my thing and to be comfortable.
Gotcha. That's what makes you happy. You know? So
exactly, like that's the ultimate happiness. Like in a dream world, I'd be doing freelance or doing design full time, and at nighttime being able to play the piano and make beats.
Yeah,
so
that's dope. All right. You know, I'm sure we missed a bunch of shit because
we might need a part 2, bro.
We might need a part.
I'm sure we
one,
missed a
2,
bunch
and
of
3,
shit,
man.
but you know, we want people to watch this. People are busy, so we want to wrap it up with our ordinary free questions. We ask this every episode. First question is, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but what would you tell, you know, a high school student, college student graduating, and they have no clue what they're gonna do? What advice would you give that person? Or looking back, you know, what advice would you give yourself in that position?
They had no clue what they wanted to do.
You know, senior in high school, don't know if I want to go to school. What's next? What advice would you give someone, even college?
I would either say, if they have an idea, like a rough idea of something that has potential, pursue that and water that. Because again, if they're waiting for like a job opportunity to allow them to do that, or if they're waiting for someone to say, okay, do it now, that's not a good idea. Just chase it and pursue it. Another thing I might tell them is and I think this is what was said in the last episode, is again to experiment. You know, really dive into different things that you might be interested in and find the opportunities. Make opportunities out of those things that you like.
Gotcha.
You know, get creative with it.
Right.
Because who knows? Like you might stumble upon something that you might really love. You just didn't know about it yet. Yeah. You know.
Gotcha. All right. This one's a little hard. Oh shit. Tacos or burgers?
Tacos.
All right. That was easy.
It's more specifically, go to Mazorca.
Mazorca. All right.
Shout out.
All day.
Shit, I mean, you already met with Rock Nation and shit, so I don't even know. But if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and where would you take them?
Oh, man. If I can have dinner with one...
That's hard, huh?
If I could have dinner with one person, dead or alive.
I might know who that person might be, but...
Really? Man, this one's hard. Have dinner with one. I'm going to say this is, only because it's really important to me, I would say my grandpa with my abuelo, because I miss him like crazy.
Okay.
And I feel like we would have a lot to catch up on, you know?
Yeah.
And I would probably take him to Mazorca. I hate to say it, but I really love that place. But yeah, I would have to take him there.
Gotcha.
I was going to say Dilla.
Or Dilla, I mean, yeah, like Dilla for like the beats.
I was like, if it was going to be like people that are known, I feel like that would have been that person for you.
Yeah. I feel like
either that or like an artist.
Like if they would choose, because they would want to like get something from that person or to like get like the knowledge and all that stuff. But I feel like a lot of it has been like just me kind of doing it solo and finding my own way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really need anything from anyone.
I feel that. In your opinion, you know, what's the most common reason that people fail, you know, or don't pursue something?
Scared. Scared to jump.
Yeah. How do you get over that?
Yeah, jump.
Jump?
Yeah, just jump.
Just dive in the deep end.
It's never going to be easy, dude. It's never going to be easy,
bullshit.
but it's worth it. It's worth it. There was a video on YouTube from like Steve Harvey. He actually talks about the jump, and Steve Harvey's like super hilarious, but that video right there like changed, like was a super game changer for me. Cause he talks about jumping and how about you're gonna like hit branches and like stones on the way down, but you're gonna find a way to grow wings and find your way. You know? But yeah, that I think people know what they want to do and think that and see the potential in it, but they're afraid to make the jump and actually do it.
Right.
And if they're already doing it and they hit like a few rough spots, they just give up because they're afraid of I guess falling off and like
being so low that they can't get back up. But sometimes you literally have to hit rock bottom in order to like get back up.
Right.
So,
all right. You want to ask the last question?
You could ask it.
All right. So we asked this to everyone coming through the show.
yeah.
From a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a freak are you? How weird are you? And why?
How weird am I want to say like 9 or 10, dude. I'm pretty weird because I like talk to myself to like motivate myself.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like it gets pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say like it's weird.
Talking to yourself?
It gets weird.
That's dope, no. I was just telling Eddie, sorry. Ellie's my sister-in-law. I was just telling Eddie.
Shout out to Ellie.
We had I do CrossFit or whatever, and right now it's like a big, it's like a worldwide competition. Every Thursday night they release like a workout, and so this guy David Castro, he's like the director of CrossFit, and he gives just like a crazy workout, and you don't know till the night before, so you're literally like. You're surprised, and then it's like some crazy shit that you know, some crazy weight. You still got to do it. I was telling him like I'm walking to the gym like, let's fucking go! Like I'm screaming.
You have to,
I'm like screaming at myself like, before I walk in. My wife's over here looking at me like, you're fucking crazy. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I gotta get pumped. Like, let's go, let's do this.
That was me last night too with the run.
I do it for like everyday shit, like the gym. If I don't want to go to the gym and it's like, nah, I don't want to go. Like, andale pinche flojo.
Let's go.
Lazy ass.
Right.
Yeah, let's go. I'm like, all right, fine, let's go.
Yeah, and the shit like that too is like once you're there and you're doing it, you're like, yeah, like you know, it feels good. You get going.
Exactly.
All right. Wrapping this up, tell the people where they can find you. Give yourself a plug. What you up to? Social media, whatever the fuck you want to say.
Whatever. So if you want to see more of my work, go to therealCameone.com. Got all my portfolio up there.
You just updated it, right?
Yeah, I just updated it. I cleaned it up. It had like a black background. Now it's white. It looks all clean. So I really like it. So if you want to go there to see my work, I'm available for work now, for any logo work.
Right now.
And also I'm on Instagram. It's at CameOne. And CameOne for pretty much everything. So Facebook.
Dope.
And yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, CameOne. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ordinary Freaks. If you guys have anyone else in mind that could be of valuable content to the Ordinary Freaks out there, let us know. Please like, subscribe, check out CameOne. Like I said, we talked about a bunch of stuff he did. Trust us, he's done way more. But just so you guys see, you know, a kid from Milwaukee pursuing his dreams. It's possible if you want to go to ComplexCon, you want to meet with different people. You can be out here. You can be doing it. Takes practice, takes work. Just go for it. Have an idea, pursue it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Dope.